All right, so if you're a musician and new to the game, new to the industry, and you want to make a living out of gigs, there are a few checklists that you have to think about first before you actually do it, okay? Let's talk about that. So Andy here, I am a gigging musician for more than 10 years before the pandemic, and now I'm teaching music online to kids and to adults. I'm still kind of gigging, but not as much as before because I already built this music teaching online since the pandemic. I couldn't leave it anymore, and I'm having fun teaching kids. So we're going to talk about how to prepare for gigs if you're a beginner. Okay, so first is you need to have a solid repertoire. Yeah, you need to have at least 60 songs in your repertoire with different genres and different eras in songs. So you need to have like 60s songs from the 60s, songs from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000 and the top 40 today. And within those decades, there are different categories of songs also, love songs, rock, pop, So there are lots of songs that you need to cover. But don't worry, because those 60 songs in the beginning might seem like a lot, but in reality, it's not a lot. It's just really the minimum in bar gigs, okay? And here's what you have to think about too. If you're targeting bar gigs, the norm here in the Philippines, we play 3 sets of 45 minutes each night. So it really depends on the bar or the establishment you're gonna play for, but that's the norm. Some 2 sets of an hour. I experienced like a set for 2 hours, 1 set, 2 hours. That's sometimes beneficial, sometimes not. But yeah, let's put it on the standards today. We have 3 sets of 45 minutes. For every set, 45 minutes, a radio-friendly song lasts around 3.5, 4 minutes. Let's put it 4 minutes. So in 45 minutes, 10 songs, 12 songs, that's the basic, okay? That's 12 songs is safe. And times 3 now, because of 3 sets, that's 36 songs. And now you still have more songs in your repertoire. So that's why we have that. And most of the time, there are requests most of the time here in the Philippines. They encourage bars and venues encourage the artists or musicians to take in requests from the audience. And hopefully that request is part of your set list or part of your repertoire. If not, you have to add that in your repertoire. You have to learn those requests. And there's a lot of points and lessons that you learn during gigs, okay? Like what are the trending songs and how to read people, how to gauge the audience and the flow of your songs in your set. Should you start fast? Should you start slow? How do you create the flow of your set list, okay? So these are the things that a music teacher can't teach you these kind of stuff because they don't have the experience in live gigs. Yeah, so it's really important to experience it. Or if you know someone who has experience in live gigs and will teach you the norms or how it goes, that's great. That's why I'm here, right? So with all that in mind, if you see another musician who's really good, you make friends and you refer them to some clients, they will also refer you back. But there are some musicians that kind of are envious of you, and they try to, ruin your reputation just to get that gig that you already have. So you gotta have to look out for that also. Be careful. But generally, musicians really help each other. Yes, it's beneficial for everyone to help each other. You refer, if you're not available for this date because of a bigger gig or something happens, you won't leave your bar that you're playing or that you're playing for hanging. And that way, you know some musician who will relieve you, who will be a reliever for you for the night or for the week that you're not available. So it's kind of a balancing act, So you should be careful, but you should be friendly still, okay? Or it's the other way around. You should be friendly, but you still have to be careful. The physical aspects in gigs is the transportation. If you're coming from a different city and you have gigs in a further city, intercity, that the traffic here in Manila is crazy. Okay, it's really crazy. So right now I'm to the point. I got to the point where I bought a scooter, a motorcycle, so I can, get to where I need to be as quick as possible and just, scoot. Because if you have a car or you do Grab every day, first, if you have a car, gas will kill you. Okay, gas will consume you and your time and the traffic. So it's a minimum of 2 hours if you're going anywhere. 2 hours minimum within Metro Manila, right? So, for example, you're in Pasig. You need to go to Quezon City, which is just the next town or next city, right? 2 hours. Pasig to Mandaluyong, 2 hours. Pasig to Makati or Pasay or, Sucat, 2 hours or more, 3 hours. Sometimes Pasig to Pasig is 2 hours. That's crazy. The only disadvantage with motorcycles or scooters here in the Philippines when it rains, you need to waterproof your gear. Like a waterproof case. You need a coat or a raincoat. Yeah, and you have to be very careful here in the Philippines when you're driving a scooter. Although anywhere in the world anyway. So yeah, but the pros is you get to go or you get to where you need to be really faster than four wheels. Another cons is when it's not raining, it's really, really hot, so you need to bring an extra shirt, extra motorcycle jacket. The motorcycle gear is different from compared to what you wear in your gig. So you're gonna have to bring more gear, if that makes sense, in a motorcycle than you bring your car. Yeah. And one more con really is the pay. You don't get to be paid that big in gigs here. It's really so imagine this. I'm trying to convert it in dollars. Okay, so Philippine peso per gig, one night as a musician. If you play with bands, by the way, so sometimes the package is for the whole band, or sometimes the package is for per member. So I think the norm now is more per member. Okay, but it really depends. So the first, let's say your deal with the bar is per member. Some bars pay only 500 pesos. That's like, how much is that? $10 or less? Yeah, $10 night. Some bars pay double that, 1,000 pesos. That's like $20, $20 per night. So imagine that. And because before, there are many bars before, but you don't get to play with one band every day. That's why musicians here have different bands, many different bands, so they can play every day. So if you have like gigs Monday to Saturday, it's most likely that you play with three or four bands, different bands. And you should be playing acoustic by yourself also to get that 6 day a week gig. Okay, so like my situation before, I was playing with two bands, full bands, and I was playing acoustic solo 2 times or 3 times a week, sorry. And I was playing as a guitarist with one full band, that's once a week. So that's why I can gig most days. And I sing also. I'm an acoustic solo singer, so I can have more gigs than if I just play the guitar or play the drums or play the bass. But it really depends on how good you are or your network. Which brings me to the next topic: network. You need to network you need to create a good network. You have to introduce yourself. You can't thrive if you're what he calls, if you're bashful, right? If you're shy, you need to make network. You need to introduce yourself. You need to let people know that you exist through social media right now. It's quite easy now through social media. Just post whatever you're doing, as a guitar player or a bass player or a piano. Someone somewhere will see you and will kind of ask you if you want to join their band. So it's quite easy now than a few years ago, before social media. You need to, way back then, you need to really physically go outside and, prove to everyone that you're a player, you're a musician, and can be hired, and are reliable. So that's one of those things. And which leads me to another point. You need to be reliable and consistent. Because if you're not reliable, you keep on canceling, no one's going to hire you. No one wants a really great guitar player, but inconsistent and unreliable. They rather go for a mediocre guitar player who can just play, just do the job just clearly and accurately. Not great, but just right there, as long as you're consistent and reliable. That's the thing. And one more point before we end this video, this long topic. There should be a second video for this one. But the last point for this video is if you have a wife or a family who supports you with your passion, that you're one of the lucky ones, okay? You're lucky. Not all families support your passion, especially in music. If you have a lawyer dad or a doctor dad or a doctor mom or a businesswoman, businessman, money-driven parent or family, and you're that musician, it's really difficult to have their support. But if you have them supporting you, you're very lucky. Okay, me, I'm divided. My dad is a lawyer, was a lawyer. My mom is a housewife, but before she's an accountant, a secretary, a corporate. And my mother's side, they're kind of supportive that with in music. My father's side, they're kind of also a bit supportive, but my dad wanted me to be a lawyer or a accountant or something else. That's my life story. By the way, it's a different story, but just a summary. I had to fight for music. I had to fight for music. Yeah, but anyway. So if you have a family who supports you with your passion for music, you're very lucky. Be thankful that you have them. If not, you're just going to have to go through it and, prove yourself. That could be a motivation for you. Don't think of it badly, in a negative way. Think about it as a motivation for you to be great, to be better at your craft, right? Be a great guitar player, be great vocals, be a great bass player, whatever it is you play, you could use that as a motivation to be great, okay? So I hope this helps you out, guys. Let me know in the comments what your situation is. And if you're wondering, will I be gigging again like before? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll. It really depends because of the pandemic, and of my current situation. I couldn't leave my students anymore. I'm so in love with my students. I'm so having fun teaching what I know to children and to adults too, because it's like giving back and being rewarded. So yeah, hope this helps you out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Good luck.